Welcome back to Cursed and Curious, and welcome back to Sunday Scaries. I am Charlotte, and I will be telling you your story today. We are driving full speed ahead into a Reddit story that has haunted the internet for nearly a decade. It's eerie, atmospheric, and taps into that deep human fear of discovering something in your home that shouldn't be there. This is, I found a hidden door in my cellar and I think I've made a huge mistake. I'll read the full story first, exactly as it was written, then we'll break it down, explore some theories, and talk through the parts that still mess with people's heads. Let's get into it. This is the story. I bought this house 6 months ago. It's old, over 100 years at least. The kind of place where the floors complain when you walk and the windows rattle even when the wind is barely there. For the most part, I loved it. The history, the character, the sense that generations had lived inside these walls. All of that changed last week. It started with a smell. A damp, earthy scent rising from the cellar. I kept telling myself it was normal for an old house, that cellars never smelled great. But something about this scent bothered me. It wasn't rot, not mildew, more like soil that had recently been disturbed. I tried to ignore it, until the light in the cellar started flickering. That was new. So I went down there. The stairs groaned under every step, and for the first time since I moved in, I felt something close to dread. I don't scare easily, but something about that night put my nerves on edge. The bulb overhead buzzed weakly. The smell was stronger, and then I noticed something that I had never seen before. On the far wall behind a stack of crates, a faint outline, a rectangle, the shape of a door. But the same colour as the wall, same texture, no handle, no hinges. I should have left it, sealed it back up and pretended it wasn't there. But curiosity does things to a person. It makes you stupid. I moved the crates aside and ran my thick fingers along the outline. The wall felt different there. Softer, not drywall, not brick, almost like thick paper. So I pushed. The door swung inward. No sound, no resistance. Just a long dark corridor stretching into the earth behind my house. My heart hammered. The air coming from the tunnel was cold and stale, but the worst part? The ground wasn't level. It sloped downward. I grabbed my phone, turned on the torch and stepped inside. The walls weren't stone, not wood, not metal. They looked carved, hand-carved. Symbols lined both sides of the corridor, stretched in long strokes like someone had dug them out with broken fingernails. I kept walking. I don't know why. Something pulled me forward. After maybe 20 feet, the corridor opened into a small room. And that's when I saw it. A chair. Old, wooden, sitting right in the centre. Not dusty, not aged like it had been abandoned for decades. It looked used. Recently. My breathing grew shallow. I lifted my phone higher. On the floor around the chair, drag marks. Deep grooves like the chair had been pulled, scraped, moved again and again and again. My brain screamed at me to get out, but before I could move, I felt a breeze behind me. Ruins the vibe when I get something wrong. Someone had stepped into the corridor. I spun around, but the torch only lit empty tunnel. No movement, no shadow. But the air was different, like someone had just inhaled behind my ear. So I ran. I sprinted back through the corridor, stumbled into the cellar, slammed the hidden door shut and pushed the crates in front of it. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak, every rumble of the pipes made me jump. The next morning I went back down, convinced I'd imagined everything. The crates were moved. Not knocked over, not toppled. Moved. Placed neatly to the side of the door. The hidden door was ajar. Only an inch, but enough. Enough to tell me someone or something had come upstairs during the night and then gone back. I nailed the crates to the wall. I dragged a metal shelving unit in front of it. I even called a contractor to ask about sealing off a damp problem down there. He cancelled twice, then stopped answering all my calls altogether. For the last 3 nights, I've heard scraping from behind that wall. Slow, deliberate scraping. Like fingernails on stone. This morning, I found dirt on the cellar floor. Fresh dirt. In a trail leading from the hidden door to the bottom of the stairs. And just now, while I'm writing this, the scraping stopped. It stopped an hour ago. Now it sounds like breathing, right behind the wall. I don't think I found a room. I think I opened someone's way in. Or something's way in. And I think it's already inside. So, let's talk about that. Stories about hidden rooms in old houses always hit differently because they sit close to reality. People do find bricks over crawl spaces, sealed doors, forgotten basements. But this one adds layers that feels psychological and supernatural at the same time. Here are a few theories that Reddit readers throw around. Something was sealed inside the tunnel. The carved symbols, the makeshift chair, the lack of dust, it all reads like a ritual space or a holding area, not for storage, for containment. Whatever lived down there wasn't meant to leave. Number 2. The scratching and fresh dirt suggest movement. This is where people debate whether it's a creature, a spirit attached to the land, or even a person who had been living underground. Some argue it's feral human territory. Others think it's an entity that mimics human behaviour. Number 3. The narrator's biggest mistake wasn't opening the door, it was going back down. The crate's moving neatly, the door left slightly open. That's high intelligence behaviour. It didn't just come out, it wanted him to know that it came out. Number 4. The breathing behind the wall. Classic horror trope. Still terrifying, don't get me wrong. If you hear breathing behind a wall you sealed, the implication is simple. The barrier is meaningless. It can move where it wants, when it wants, and it can come and see you whenever it wants. Number 5, my personal theory for a video breakdown. This feels like a land spirit or a subterranean entity that was imprisoned generations ago. Maybe people in the house before him knew. Maybe they built that false wall for a reason, and maybe the smell of the disturbed soil wasn't a warning, but a sign that it had already started to dig its way up before it even found the door. So what do you think? Was something living under that house? Is this a metaphor for a mental deterioration? Or did the narrator stumble into a ritual space meant to never be opened again? Drop your theories below, and if you've got a Reddit story you want us to cover next Sunday, send it our way. And if you prefer Beth's readouts, tell me. I'll get Beth to do it. If you prefer mine, that's fine. I'm going to do them anyway, just because I'm along for the ride. So sleep tight, if you can, and we will see you next week. Kirsten Curious, over and out.